Thank you all for coming to this Inform Your Community event. My name is Stacy and my pronouns are she and her. And I'm wearing a green shirt, a light-skinned woman with a black background and gray hair. I don't know if you can tell, a little bit of my tips are purple. I don't know if you can see that. So we are here at Inform Your Community to have this wonderful event from our Celebrate and Create program. You can find out about important information while engaging in fun activities and Inform Your Community, and you can check us out at our website at www.informyourcommunity.org. You can find out about our events, sign up for our mailing list, as well as donate to help keep our events free. And Inform Your Community, all of our events are free. And this program is a virtual program, and we ship our craft materials for free, as well as provide the craft materials for free. So hopefully those of you who registered have our kit. We'll also be telling you today how to do this craft with your materials from your own home, in case you don't have our kit, or if you're watching our video on YouTube at a later time. And please do feel free to, if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe, and of course, share this video with others. And today we're going to try something a little bit different. In addition to what we normally do at our event, we just love getting pictures on social media of our crafts that our crafters make at our events. And at one of our recent events, somebody posted, kind of the craft kit and what it looked like while they were making the craft, and then the final craft. And it was so great. We really appreciated that. So we wanted to do a little raffle. And so if you post on social media, any of the social media channels, and tag us, you'll be entered into a raffle. And specifically, I'd say what we use is YouTube, we use Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn, Threads, or X, formerly known as Twitter. If you tag us on any of those, also TikTok, you should be able to tag us on that as well. So if you tag us on those, we'll enter you into a raffle if you show one, what your craft looked like at the end. And we're going to send you a book. We'll ship it out to you for free, called The Matter of Black Lives. It's not necessarily a book for kids, but it's a very useful and informative book. And so your parents or guardians or other loved ones will love it as a wonderful gift from you who are attending today. So thank you for that. As I mentioned, this is part of our Celebrate and Create series. Today we're going to talk about Black Lives Matter, which is a movement about advocating against violence inflicted on those from Black communities by those with power. And so Black Lives Matter is most associated with protests that occurred worldwide after George Floyd's death in 2020, though the actual movement began in 2013 after the shooting death of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. And so clearly this is an important topic to educate people about. And we're going to be talking about this idea of Black, this event. What does that mean? And BIPOC, which is a term for those whose identity is Black, Indigenous, or people of color would be included in that as well. And so just so you know our terminology that we're using. And so throughout the craft, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. You can go ahead and ask during the event. You could raise your hand, or feel free to put something in the chat. And we, of course, love to see your progress as you go along. So please don't hesitate to show us what you're doing. We're excited to have today Michael A. Brown, whose pronouns are he and him, with us today to co-facilitate. Michael is an experienced businessman and civic leader. Thank you, Michael, for being with us.
Glad to be here.
And he began his civic involvement as a teenager himself, and works diligently to this day. And his primary mission is to inspire others to greatness. So we're so glad he's here today. It would probably take you hours to list all of Michael's accomplishments. So take time to check out more about him. Should be in our event description. And we're so honored to have you here today, Michael. So, and I am here today as our not only our facilitator for what I was just talking about, but also to co-facilitate our craft today. And so I want to tell you a little bit about why I chose this craft. And so particularly when I think about Black Lives Matter, I think about Black History Month and Juneteenth, which isn't so far away, coming up in June. And it's a great time to kind of reflect and think about what it is we know or don't know about Black history and Black Lives Matter. And there's so many holidays that may have been around longer than Juneteenth, for example, but that we're familiar with. But Juneteenth has been around a while now, and many people are still not familiar with it. Juneteenth celebrates when the slaves were free from Galveston, Texas, when the slaves in Galveston, Texas learned that they were free. And these free people were the last people to find out that they were freed. Because remember, at the time, there was no Instagram, there was no internet, weren't cell phones, right? And so even though in 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation freed them officially, they weren't made aware of it until it was actually enforced 2 whole years later on June 19th, 1865. So could you imagine that you're freed, but you don't even know that for 2 years and nobody's telling you. So now we celebrate that day as a day that all slaves were free. And that's what we refer to as Juneteenth. Yeah, Michael, did you want to add something?
I did, because it's important to note that it's oftentimes represented by two fists and broken chains. So think about the fists. You have individuals, 1, 2, 3, 4. The fingers represent the individuals, together united. Together this way is strength, down chains, and broken chains. And that's what that symbol represents. Not a lot of people know that, but that is what the image means inside of Black communities.
Very important clarification. And that's exactly why we're making a bookmark today for our craft. I'm so excited about it. We're going to be making a bookmark. And it's because information is important to understand our history and to understand what we don't know. So especially about groups that are, are not groups that we belong to, or time periods that we weren't a part of. How would we know about what happened in those time periods, or what happened with other people that maybe aren't a part of our community and maybe we're not as familiar with, if we don't learn about them actively and kind of read, right? And so bookmarks give us a little motivation to do that when we have a pretty bookmark, as far as I'm concerned. So so that's why I wanted to do that. And I know when my kids were younger, we loved getting pretty bookmarks, and my kids love to read. So I don't know if any of you out there love to read, but if you like to read, feel free to give us a thumbs up. Let us know you like to read, okay? Michael likes to read. Anybody else likes to read? There we go. I see some folks who like to read. Thank you so much. I see you. I see you holding your thumb up there. Thank you. Excellent. So our crafters like to read. So then we better go and make this bookmark, right? Okay, so if you have our kit, here's what you're going to find. You're going to find some information like our Black Lives Matter infographic, which we hope you'll take some time to read. And it's what you'll be learning about today as well. We have some information about our nonprofit. We have our business card. And if you flip that business card, there's a joke on the back of that. But you also have, and this kit was one of our kind of more basic kits, but very important. We have a bookmark that's made of felt. Okay. And I'm seeing it. Excellent. You've got that. I love our young ones participating and showing us, modeling what's there. I so appreciate that. And you have our little materials. Be careful when you take these out, because there's some little tiny pieces in here, okay? So you have our materials, and in our materials, you're going to find, and by the way, that felt bookmark has a hole in it. Okay, and if you're only looking at me right now and you can't see the craft materials, that's because there's another screen that has the craft materials on it. So if you scroll on your camera, you'll be able to see that one. So we have our bookmark. You're also going to find that you have a bead. In this case, we have, let's see. Yeah, in this case, you have a wood bead, a large wood bead. You're going to have some string in there, right? And you're going to have some flowers. And the fun thing about the flowers is they all look different. You're going to have a few different flowers in there. Some of them are going to have sticky things on the back of them that are covered up. Some of them are just going to be pieces of felt. So we'll tell you what to do with those later. And you're going to have 2 pieces of Velcro. So let me show you that Velcro. Okay. And then you're going to have a couple of little tiny beads. So be careful of these beads, especially if you have little ones in the house or pets in the house. Be careful of those beads. Also, always be careful of strings around pets, especially cats. So if you don't have your kit, actually, you can totally still do this craft. What you're going to want is a piece of cardstock, ideally, or even better, a piece of felt would be just perfect. Could be a piece of felt, scrap felt from anything. You can use foam though. You can use any kind of cardboard. The idea of these materials are kind of thick. Do we have a question? Atlas, do you have a question? No, okay, just checking. Thank you. So yes, so you have your foam if you have it, or from home. Cardboard, you can use a cereal box and cut a cereal box, make sure there's no cereal left in it. You can use any kind of like cardboard, or in a pinch, you can totally use a piece of paper. Could be loose leaf, could be copy paper, construction paper. So pretty flexible on materials for that. And then to kind of replicate our flowers, you can have any kind of, maybe you have stickers at home, and it doesn't have to be flowers, could be anything you love, but you may have some stickers at home. You may have different kind of embellishments, different materials, that you have cutouts of things. Or the advantage of doing it at home is you can just draw them with your own markers. So if you have markers at home, you can go grab some of those and you can draw your own flowers, but you're making it probably on some kind of paper or cardboard that you can draw right on. And then also you might want to have, we had our string for our craft kit, but you can use any kind of string. If you don't have the material home, look what fun yarn I found in my house. So you never know what kind of fun yarn you have. Try to pick a fun color for that. But you could use yarn, you could use string, an old shoelace that you're not using anymore, great way to recycle. So anything for the string is perfectly fine. And then for your bead, another kind of advantage maybe for those who don't have the craft kit is if you have some old jewelry, oftentimes that makes a great thing to dangle off. Like maybe you're missing one earring, you just have the other one, you don't want to throw it out because it's so pretty. You can use that leftover earring, and again, great way to recycle. But also if you have pony beads that are like the little plastic beads, you can use those. So any kind of bead or kind of embellishment, as long as it has a hole in it that you can put the string through. That is key. And then the other thing, if you don't have our craft, ideally it would be super if you had a hole puncher, but you might not, and that's totally okay. In that case, it's good to have a scissor. A scissor will help. If you don't have the hole puncher, just a regular old scissor. And also good to have glue, stick glue or yellow glue, or even see-through glue are fine if you don't have our kit at home. And you may want to have a ruler, but you don't really need a ruler. You can use any kind of a straight edge, or you can just freehand it, and then it's some fun kind of pattern. So that's what you would need at home. And yeah, I think that's our kit. If you don't have, and if you don't have our kit.
That's exciting. I can't wait to see it. So listen, while you gather and check out your materials, I'd like to share a couple of things with you. I think there's some basic terms that people may not be aware of and that would help or be useful to know while we're talking today. And they all center around the idea of racism. Stacy, question for you. Did you know there are different types of racism?
I've heard a few, but sometimes I get confused, and I'm very certain I'm not the only one. Want to tell us about it?
I'll break it down for you. There's
Okay.
about 3 types that are often talked about. There's individual racism, which involves personal prejudice related to someone's race. There's structural racism, which involves like system-wide exclusion, oppression, or inequality. Third, there's institutional racism. So individual racism, structural racism, institutional racism involves individuals who carry out these practices and policies. This leads to things like racial and ethnic profiling that results oftentimes in what we call the talk. This the talk is what black families share with the children. The talk is a discussion we often hold with our sons, not to exclude our daughters as well, but about the world as it is and as it should be. And we talk about rules for living, like keeping your hands out of your pocket while you're in a store, making certain to remove, if you have on a hoodie, make sure that it's not covered over your head. Make sure you remove the head covering. And things like, in the off chance as you are pulled over by police, there's a don't do list that we share in this talk that helps us survive, really, the altercation and keep things from escalating.
And that's why it's so important what you just said, and that's why being actively anti-racist is so important, because well, actually, I should probably tell you what anti-racist means, right?
Yeah, would you do that for us, please?
Okay, yeah, sure. So being anti-racist means that we're proactively and ideally preventatively identifying racism and racist actions, or potentially racism and racist actions, to enable us to establish equity and to equitably share power amongst racial groups. Like, that's really complicated, right?
That word,
Yeah.
that word potentially is really important.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So really what we're trying to say is that we can't 100%, we're going to try to, but it's sometimes really hard to be 100% uh not racist, but we have to try to be that, right? So we have to strive for it. And so it's really unfair that Black communities have to have that talk. And so on the other end of it, everybody outside of those communities should be having the anti-racist talk, right? So that we're striving to do our best for those situations not to happen, as well. So thank you for sharing that, and I really appreciate it. So important. But now back to the craft. What do you think?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay. So whether you're using your craft at home or not, now is a great time to pick your strings. So meaning, like, if you have your craft materials at home, you can, you pick whatever materials you have to choose from for your own, from your own home. But if you have our kit, you probably have 2 strings, in which case pick which one you like, right? So that's first, okay? If you're using your string at home, what you want to do is you want to cut, you want to actually, we're going to have you start with you can set aside your string for a second. We want to have you make your bookmark, okay, first. Really what you're looking for is about 2 inches. So if you have a ruler, 2 inches by 6 inches. But truthfully, most of us know the approximate size of a bookmark. You've seen a bunch of them, I'm sure. So you can approximate, kind of with a pencil or a pen, marker, what your bookmark size should be. You can use any kind of straight edge, right? Like if you have our postcard or you have something in your house, and you can just use that straight edge to make sure you've got a straight line. And look, I don't know, the lighting is kind of weird here, but let's see. Oh, there you go. You can see that I didn't need a ruler at all. I just did that with a postcard, for example, right? And so you can go ahead and draw your line, whatever the approximate shape. 2 by 6 is great if you want to be exact, but really it could be any size, approximately, we would call it bookmark size. If you don't have a ruler, you don't have a straight edge, you know what? You can go ahead and cut your paper, and probably even without the straight edge, you're going to be able to make a pretty straight bookmark. That one was freehand, and this one was with the ruler, right? Hard to tell which one was even correct. And honestly, if it has a little movement to it, then that's kind of fun, and it's uniquely yours, and that's fine too. So you're going to make your bookmark a little bit longer, a little bit thinner. All of that is totally fine. So we're going to do that. And the other thing I just want to mention is if you, for your string at home, I would say you want to go for about 6 to 8 inches. And go ahead and cut that. So you have your string and you can set it aside. A little longer, a little shorter is probably fine. And while our crafters are working on that, and just making sure you cut your bookmark, your string's the right size, you're picking out your color string, you can also start to think about how you want your flowers and which flowers you want to use. Michael, can you share some statistics with us? Just really, I just want us to sound more impressive. We have numbers that sound impressive.
Here are some things to know to sound more impressive. While the Black Lives Matter movement has resulted in some really positive outcomes, more could always be done.
Sure.
So here's a statistic: 300 new police reform bills have been approved since the death of George Floyd. In 2020, George Floyd's murder by police sparked the movement, but the protests began after that. The actual movement began in 2013, after the shooting death of young Trayvon Martin. Another statistic that's really important: the visibility or awareness of the Black Lives Matter movement. And from a recent poll, we learned that 74% of adults in the United States acknowledged systemic profiling issues, or systemic policing issues. Let me restate that.
Thank you.
74%.
70%. That is a lot of percent. That's 3 out of 4 times. That's if you have 4 quarters, that's 3 quarters. So those are some really important statistics, and really thank you for sharing those with us. And while we kind of ponder those, and I'm sorry, I've got something stuck in my throat. I want us to start looking at our flowers and choosing our desired flowers. Some of those statistics make us a little sad, I think, but we can look at our flowers and we can make us a little happier, right? So let's look at those flowers, and you can use all of these flowers if you want. If you want, you can just choose some of them. But start thinking about which flowers you want. If you don't have our kit at home and you're doing this, now's a great time to find your flowers that you want for your embellishments, or to maybe start drawing some of those. But remember, you can always draw your flowers later. You can certainly make them with paint and so forth. So you can embellish your bookmark at any time. The key for those who happen to either have felt at home and are doing their craft on felt, or if you have our bookmark, which is a felt bookmark, is that you're going to get to make what I call a kinetic bookmark, okay? Which is super, super fun. And kinetic just means movement. So you're going to be able to make a bookmark that has movement. So some of your stickers have a sticky on them. We're not going to look at those yet. So the ones that have a white part on the back of your flowers, I said stickers, some of your flowers have a white part on the back. Just set those aside for a second, okay? What I want you to look at are the ones that don't have anything, that they look kind of the same on both sides. And I want you to take your little 2 pieces of Velcro here, okay? The pieces that you have that or we're going to put the Velcro on are going to be movable. That means, and you can test it out, if you take your little strip with the Velcro on it. So for those of you, there you go, you can see it there. You can see it. Take it here, your strip with the Velcro. Take your bookmark, and if you put the Velcro on the bookmark, you can hear that sound. Let's listen. Can you hear that? No? Okay, hopefully.
Sorry, we don't hear it.
Here we go. Can you hear it now? No, maybe not.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think as the IYC tech, I'm gonna say I think Zoom does a very good job killing background noise, and so it does not recognize that as your voice, and that's what I'm going with here.
Okay. Well, I'm saying, but you folks have it. I see that you folks are doing it, so you can hear that noise. So you can definitely hear that noise if you have our kit.
My brain hears the noise when you do that, because I know what that noise is supposed to sound like, and my brain can't hear it. So
That's fantastic. So yes, so you hear that noise at the Velcro, and that means you can put it down, and look, it's not going to come off, but you can then pick it up again and then move it somewhere else. That's the coolest part about this bookmark. It's movable. Exactly. I love that you're testing that out. So what you're going to do is decide which of your flowers you want to be movable. Okay. And so those are the ones you're going to put the Velcro on. So to put the Velcro on it, you're going to peel the Velcro off. Let me move this a little closer to the camera. There you go. You're going to peel the Velcro off of the plastic. It's pretty easy. Like I said, it's just a sticker essentially. Peel it off. And then you're going to put it on the back, stick it to the back of your flower. Okay. And then you're going to be able to pick it off of your bookmark and put it somewhere else. Like put it on and then move it around. Okay. So you have two pieces of Velcro to work with. So you're going to peel the Velcro off. I'll show you again. Peel that Velcro off. Peeling that Velcro off and sticking it on the back of your flower. Okay. Once it's on it, you can go ahead and put it somewhere on your bookmark. So some of that Velcro might stick through, but when it's all said and done, like you might be able to see the white of the Velcro through the holes in the flower. But it's okay because when it's all said and done, that's actually going to make it look a little bit cool with the patterns that we're going to have. So don't worry about that. If you can see the Velcro, you can see the Velcro, the white of the Velcro. Ooh, there you go. You can see the white of the Velcro through it. Okay, so you've got that. You're able to move your flowers around to different locations, which is great. While our crafters are kind of testing that out and moving their flowers around, I want to talk about black rights. So these are hard won, hard won means that they were gained by great effort. And so it wasn't until the 15th Amendment in 1870, only about 150 years ago, which sounds like a lot, but that's not really that long ago. And that was about 100 years after the United States was founded, that African-American men were given the right to vote. So only 150 years ago were African-American given the right to vote. Now, I'm just checking. Atlas, do you have a hand up? Do you want to say something? Yeah, can you want to go ahead, unmute yourself. Let me know.
Got my puppet.
I love your,
Oh,
let me see. Oh, that's a fantastic puppet. Did you make that?
Her name's Your Doll.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I
Your
love
Doll, Your Doll loves to high five.
your yeah, I can high five it. So there you go. Thank you for sharing that. That was absolutely precious. Thank you. And I love, is that a dress she's wearing?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. That is beautiful. Okay. So we always love it when you folks show us, especially all your creativity. So thank you for sharing that and for being patient when you raised your hand. I wasn't sure if you were raising it. So thank you for being patient. So fantastic. I'm going to go back to making our craft and talking about these hard-won rights. So, yes, so it was only 100 years ago, 150 years ago, when African-American men were given the right to vote.
and even after that, Stacey, local and state laws still worked against those rights. And sometimes that still happens today. About 70 years ago, in 1954, the Supreme Court ruled that, in a ruling from Brown versus Board of Education, that the ruling mandated that all schools desegregate. We could go to school together, which we take for granted. We do that now, but it was ruled in 1954, just 70 years ago. Imagine that.
70 years ago. And it took another 10 years in 1964 for the Civil Rights Act to stop businesses from discriminating based on race and other things like gender as well. So yeah, and that's, 60 years ago. It's amazing. Amazing how relatively recent that was. So, so you have your flowers, okay? That are stickers, okay? And I want you to kind of test out where you want to put your stickers. So don't peel them yet. So you have these other stickers that are flowers with stickers backs, okay? Don't peel them yet, but I just want you to start thinking about where you want to put them on your craft. And some of them are foam, some of them have little embellishments on them. Where do you want to put them? I'm sorry, did I say put them on your foam? Put them on your felt, okay? Where do you want to put those? And again, if you don't have a craft kit, this is a great time to start drawing some flowers. Flowers, I'm not a great artist. I like to craft, but I'm not a great artist. But flowers is the one thing I love to do. So there's my little flower on my homemade bookmark, right? And so you can kind of, as we're doing this, you can put your flowers however you want on your homemade bookmark. Right? And you start to see the same pattern. So you have your homemade bookmark with the flowers, and then you kind of see it starts to look a bit the same, right, as the one that we're making with our kit. So with those of you, you've got your sticker flowers. I want you to take off your Velcro flowers for a minute. So take off your Velcro flowers for a minute. Then I want you to think about where do you want your sticker flowers? Because once you put the sticker flowers on, you can't lift them up again, okay? Because sticker material, as you probably know, once it gets stuff on it, it doesn't stick anymore. In that case, you can always glue it later with stick glue or white glue, but it's even better if you can just find the spot that you like those on and peel off the sticker and stick it. So figure out where you want to put your stickers that are not going to be able to move. For those, make sure to separate them, okay? So that you have enough space that you can move around the Velcro whenever you want to, okay? So that's key, is for the ones that aren't going to move, you don't want to put them so close together that you can't put the other Velcro ones there if you wanted to. So I say move those, space them out. I like to do some on one side of the bookmark, some on others. So to do that, you're going to peel the back of your stickers, okay? Some of these might be a little harder than others, but it's just like a sticker for everything else. Any other stickers that you've worked with, you kind of pull down one side of it and then peel up the other side. And then you'll feel that it's sticky, and you can go ahead and put it somewhere on your bookmark, okay? Just like that. Same thing, go ahead and do that with the next one. Hold back one side, start to peel the, here we go, peel the paper off, and peel the sticky, and then go ahead and put it down. And I'll do this last one on the big camera, on the main camera. So you're going to hold back one side, take the paper on the other side, peel it off. You can feel it's sticky, and then go ahead, put it wherever you want. You notice these do not come off. If you were to move them around, eventually they're going to stop being sticky. So try to leave them in that spot. Now what you're going to notice is that you can go ahead and put your Velcro stickers anywhere you want, which is kind of cool. So you can put them, you can keep changing up your bookmark. So, like I said, try not to peel off those stickers once you put them on, because then they won't be sticky anymore, and then they won't stick to your bookmark. While you folks are working on that and arranging the bookmarks, I want to take a moment to tell you about some very important people in Black history in the United States, and some more recent people we might want to know about that have been visible because of the Black Lives Matter movement. So Rosa Parks, who you may know as the woman who refused to give up her seat on the bus for a white man. That one you might have learned about in school. There's certainly lots of books about it. Oh, and I see one bookmark is looking great. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Also, Martin Luther King Jr., we celebrate oftentimes, every year we celebrate Martin MLK Jr. Day with for what his work was, what he did for peaceful protests and like marches and boycotts during the civil rights movement. Also important figures like Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee in show of solidarity. He's a more recent figure. So he did that in show of solidarity for victims of police brutality. And also John Legend, a musician you may be familiar with, who used his celebrity to raise awareness of the Black Lives Matter movement at the height of that movement. And of course, there's more recent people, even more recent people, Black Lives Matter movement related, like Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Opal Tometi. So really important people, and certainly lots of other folks out there for you to be aware of, like Malcolm X, for example. So there's so many important people, and these are just a few that we can highlight. Michael, do you want to tell us some important values related to the Black Lives Matter movement and Black community more generally, while our crafters are still kind of playing around with their pieces and where they want to move those?
Sure. Stacy, while those events epitomize some of the values that we associate with the Black Lives Matter movement and the Black community in general, the importance of civil rights and the love and reliance on community and feeling like you're valued and appreciated in what is a diverse society.
Those values are great, and there's a few other values I can add to that too. There's this idea of being unapologetically Black, which refers to the idea that a Black person can be authentic and true to themselves, which we kind of take for granted sometimes nowadays, right? But not require permission to be themselves. And like I said, we take it for a lot of people take that for granted. Well, of course you can be authentic and true to yourself, but for example, in the 2019 Crown Act became law, and it required a law. Like, think about it, it required a law for a person to be able to wear their hair. Typically, we're talking about a Black person to wear their hair in any manner they choose, and not be discriminated against for it. So that's really that idea of being authentically Black and not having to be apologetic for it. Folks shouldn't have to have a law to be able to say, like, yeah, wear your hair the way you want to wear your hair. And I bet there's a lot of folks on this call today that can't imagine not being able to wear their hair the way they want to, right? So yeah.
Now, one more, Stacey. The notion of excellence.
Yes.
Excellence became a value. There are things that have happened to you, and there's your response to those things. And excellence was born out of that response and became a value that came as a result of systemic racism. So we believe that you have to work twice as hard to get half as far. That we can't be just good. In fact, a quote that I have often that I share with many is, why be good if great is available? Why be good if great is available? We have to strive for excellence. We value excellence and education equally. And also we have a strong desire for justice. And I have a great statistic for you, Stacey. You ready?
Yep, lay it on me.
One more stat. The great majority, that is 93%, nearly all, of racial protests have been peaceful in the United States. And that's a big percent, considering that during a less than 2-week period between May 26th of 2020 and June 7th of 2020, short period, 2 weeks, during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, there were 140 protests a day.
Wow.
For racial justice, but they were peaceful.
Peaceful. That's wow, 140. And well, it is justice the time to get to our next part of this craft.
Oh no, I see what you did there.
Oh,
I can't believe you did it, but I see it. Mike,
So-
you heard it.
So once you are done with, thank you for your patience with that one. Once you're done with all your stickers, then you can kind of test out where you want, things to be. But now you've got that string that you picked out, or you have your own yarn at home. And let us take a moment to do that, and we can put that on here. And so with the string, you want to fold your string in half. And this is true whether you're using our craft kit or whether you have our craft kit or you have your yarn at home. So if you have your yarn at home, no problem. You're going to fold it in half. Whether you have our kit, you're going to fold it in half. And this is a little tricky for little kids, okay? For littler kids, fold that string in half. So you have the string. I'm going to show you on the big screen. You have the string and make your fingers touch. Okay, now hold that part with one hand, and now take the other hand. Hold the other part. Okay, now you can let go of the one with the two ends and just hold it with the folded section. Perfect. Okay. Now you're going to take your bookmark, and if you're right-handed or you want to hold this in the hand that you use to write, okay? So you might want to switch hands, okay? But you're going to take the end that's folded. You want to take your bookmark. Okay. So pick up your bookmark, and you're going to take the end that's folded, and you're going to put it through the hole in the bookmark. So find the hole in the bookmark. We get nice and close for you. Find the hole in the bookmark and put it through. You probably want to hold that end as close as possible to the tip. Okay, hold it as close as possible to the tip and put it through that bookmark. Okay. So I'm going to show you one more time. So here, you have your string. Okay. And then you're going to fold the string in half. Put the ends with one hand. Take the other hand. Take the loop. And then let go of the top part, right? You want to put the part you're holding, put it in the hand that you used to write with. And then hold up your bookmark with your other hand. Holding the bent part with the tip of your fingers, holding the tip of the bent part with your fingers, push it through that hole. Okay, don't pull it out all the way, but just do it like halfway, okay? Then switch hands again, hold it really tight so it doesn't fall out. Take the loose ends, the two ends, and put it through the hole. Loose ends. This is probably the hardest part of this craft. Pull it through that hole that you made with the loop. Okay, and pull it up. And it's going to hold itself on. Okay. Whoop. Unless you do what I just did, Michael. Did you see what I just did there?
Love that.
I flicked it too much. All right, so it gives me a chance to do it again. So here, you can take the, you can do it this way. Here, I'll show you the other way. If you do it this way, that's fine too. It's just a little harder to get in. If you've got the loose ends and you try to put it through, you can do it that way too. A little harder to do for smaller hands. And still, you're going to put it through the loop. Through the loop, and then pull it. Okay, are we follow? Did we follow along on that one? Pull the loop and through it. We done? Yeah, we got it. Okay, excellent. Thank you. So grateful for Atlas today because you're showing me, and then I know everybody understands it because I can see you doing it. So okay, so thank you, Atlas. Fantastic. So okay, so then you have your hands like this. Okay, we did learn a lesson though, Michael, which is don't flick it because it'll undo itself.
Do not, yes.
Don't flick it. Don't flick it. Okay. So then what you're going to do is actually so then what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever kind of embellishment you have. Okay. In this case, we have our bead. Okay. And we're going to pull one end, just one, because we have two here. We have two loose ends. I'm going to pull one of the ends through the hole. Kind of push it through. So you have your bead. I'm going to show you on the close-up. You have your bead. You have one end. You're going to push the bead over that hole. Okay, and just hold on to it there while I keep showing this a few more times. You have your two ends. Spread those out. Take your bead. Put your bead onto one of those ends. Okay. You have your two ends. Put your bead onto one of those two ends. And then you're going to tie the two ends together. Now, there's a few ways to do this. If you're bigger and you can do this, even better if you can put the other end through the hole. But that's hard and that might take a lot of time. If you can put the other end through the hole also, then it will look like this. And then you can tie a knot. So either way, you're going to tie the knot the same way. You separate your two pieces. You fold it over. So separate them. Make them overlap. tuck the end underneath. Well, basically it's just a knot. And that is going to hold your bead onto it. So I'll show you that again. So you're going to separate, this is on the close-up, separate them, cross them over, put one end through the hole, and then pull the two ends. And now you've got your knot tight, really tight. Okay, and now you've got your knot, and your bead is going to stay there. So you can do this even if you only had your bead on one string, or if you had your bead on both strings, it doesn't matter. You can do that. That piece of it is probably the hardest part of this craft. But there you go. And then you have the top of your bookmark. We actually have one more piece of the craft, which I'm going to have you do. So you've got some little jewels, little tiny jewels. You're going to peel off the back. They're sticky. And by the way, if you're doing this craft at home, that was the same way. If you didn't have our kit, you did that the same way. Whatever bead you had, whatever jewelry you were recycling by using on here, you're doing that the same exact way we just did it. So you have your material, your yarn with your bead or your jewelry, and you're doing the same exact thing. If you have our kit, you've got some little tiny jewels. You can put them wherever you want on the flowers, or you can go ahead and put them anywhere you want on the actual bookmark. They don't have to be on the flower, right? So you peel that sticker, peel that little tiny sticker. And sometimes it's hard because it's a little tiny. If it's too hard for you, you can just glue them on. No reason you have to use the sticker. You can just glue that right on. And in my case, I'm going to put one bead on one of my flowers. I put one of my, I shouldn't say bead, one of my jewels on one of my flowers, and I put one of my beads, one of my jewels, just right on the bookmark itself. And so I can move these around whenever I want. And there you have it, your beautiful bookmark. And it's so satisfying. I find it so satisfying to pick up the flowers and move them around to different places. So anytime I want, my bookmark can be a little bit different. And so if you could give me a thumbs up if you like your new bookmark, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad you like your bookmark and you can use that around. Thank you so much, Michael, for this, amazing co-facilitation. I really appreciate hearing what your thoughts were on this. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all of our crafters or wonderful crafters for joining us. Oh, Atlas, is that a question? Is that a hand raised again? You want to tell us something?
Next time I come, do you want to see a puppet show?
That is fantastic. If you want to show your craft, we'd be glad to take a screenshot of you. If that's okay with you and your family who's there, you can show us your craft and we'll take a screenshot of it right now if you want. Anybody else who wants to be on camera and show us your craft, we're happy to take a screenshot. Do you want to show us? I love your doll. Do you want to show us your bookmark with your other hand? Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Nice.
I love it. Thank you so much, Atlas. I really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed your craft project and that you'll all continue to learn about Black Lives Matter. And Atlas, did you have another thing to say?
Didn't answer my question.
Oh, I thought you wanted to. So next time, yes, next time we can do that as well. I would love that.
I'm making another puppet.
Thank you. I'm glad. Maybe we can do a puppet craft in the future too. You might give me an idea there to do a puppet. Would that be fun?
He would love to see the puppets if you make a puppet craft.
Wait, what was that? I'm sorry.
If you made a puppet craft, she would love to meet the puppet.
Oh, I'm glad. That would be great. I'm going to keep that in mind. Maybe one of our upcoming crafts, we can do that. It is a great idea. So we love having you learn about these important topics, and we will send out our video and our infographic about Black Lives Matter and Black history so that you can share this with others. Please also commit to, learning more about Black Lives Matter and Black history and raising your awareness about related issues. Getting informed by coming to this event is a great way to start. And there's other important things you can do. You can research Black history and the origins of the Black Lives Matter movement. Some of the folks we mentioned earlier, that we had mentioned earlier. Also say their names. That's so important that the folks who are kind of the ones who help trigger the Black Lives Matter movement are not forgotten. So people like Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, and so many others. Also acknowledge the importance of Juneteenth on June 19th. With others as well. So raise your awareness about that, but acknowledge it with others, even if you're not BIPOC yourself. Try to understand, try to educate yourself about this topic and share that information with others as well. Also, please take a minute right now to take our quick poll. These are not the same questions we're going to end up sending you out in our email soon, but please do take a minute to just answer this poll for us. Our email will also include a quick survey with just a few questions for you as well, but there'll be different questions. Take a minute to learn more about Inform Your Community and our Celebrate and Create events online at www.informyourcommunity.org. Our next Celebrate and Create event, we hope you will join us, is about food waste, and that's going to be on April 20th at 1 p.m., also a Saturday, and that's Eastern Standard Time. We'll be decorating little cardboard boxes as a way to help understand the importance of conserving food for our topic about avoiding food waste. Our next free event that isn't a children's crafting event is about bioethics, and that's a game night. We encourage you to sign up for that. It's in our Much to Discuss program. And if you've never done a Zoom scavenger hunt, it is so much fun. We'll also do some trivia. That's generally an adult event. So please come check that out Thursday, February 29th, and give it a try. That's at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And if you're watching this event on YouTube and using your own materials at home, please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. And you can watch previous event videos there as well and follow along with your own craft materials. So, and I mentioned today we're trying something different, so please do. If you finished our craft today or when you finish it later, please do post it on social media and tag us in it. And we will be sure to put you in a raffle for this wonderful Black Lives Matter book, which we will send out to you, to the winner, for free. Thank you for joining us to this event. Thank you, Michael, for being here. Thank you, all of our crafters. Please consider donating and help keep the cost of those events down. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm so glad all of you are here. We'd love to see your crafts. Thank you for coming. Thank you for doing our poll. Sign up for the rest of the events. Michael, thank you. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you. Oh, I see somebody else. Do you have a craft you want to show us? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I love that one too. That's fantastic. That is great. Oh my gosh. Please do post those on social media. Thank you for doing that, Lillian. Thank you. That looks awesome. Really appreciate it. And you know, I never know if it's really the name of the kids or the name of the adults on these. But anyway, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you for coming. I love the big heart smiley face. Thank you, Chantel. Thank you, everybody. Michael, always a pleasure.
Pleasure.
We will see you soon. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Enjoy your
Thank
craft.
you. Thank you. Thank you for the facts. We really like the facts. Amen.
Thank you.